All right, we're going to get started. I'm Dan Garvey. I think most of you probably know who I am. I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation at Lisle Park District. Obviously, you're here both in person. We've got a couple on Zoom that are watching, but we've hired some consultants to guide us through a master planning process to help us prioritize how we invest the tax dollars you guys all give us. So without further ado, I'm just going to turn it over to Lisle and Daniel. They can make introductions if that's okay, and I'll be over here, staying out of the way and hopefully out of trouble.
Thank you, and good evening, everybody in person. Good evening to those online as well. My name is Lisle. I am the principal with Pros Consulting in Indianapolis. And we're a conversation we started in 2019, right before the pandemic finally came to fruition now, and we're starting the master plan. So I have my team members. I have Chris Lau. You can stand up and just be acknowledged, Chris. We have Jason Elisaldi there as well. And we have our official playground inspector and pool inspector, if you can stand, Mr. Kian Bhatt, who also happens to be related to me. He's my son. And so we had a wonderful day testing the zip lines, the playground as well as the pool today. And we have our partners, Kimberly Horn, and their principal as well, Daniel Grove. So we're part of the team with the master plan here. We're going to share the screen here in a moment. And if you can also choose present. Perfect. So what we're going to do today is an interactive presentation. Do all of you have smartphones on you? Yes? No? Okay. For those of you that do, please get them out. We're going to go through some polling questions. Any other input you have after that, we will obviously capture that. And I have my colleagues here taking the notes as well. So starting with just generally, what is a strategic master plan? How many of you online or in person have been a part of a master plan process? Okay, a couple of you, that's great. For the rest, simply put, it's a roadmap. And our idea really is looking at some of these key outcomes, right? Engaging the community through a number of different ways. Obviously, maximizing data sources, creating levels of service, and ultimately, we heard from a number of people today, is ensuring fiscal sustainability through a living, breathing action plan. So as our team, really, as we spoke to earlier, we are based in Indianapolis. I've been there for the last 25 years, done over 1,000 of these plans. I've done a couple hundred of these as well. And really, the outcome of our work has been a number of initiatives that have resulted in investment within the communities for the better. Over the years, and I'll have Daniel share his team's experience in a moment, but we've done the plans around the area here with them and otherwise for Highland Park, Oak Park, Elmhurst Park District, work with Carroll Stream, Burnham Hills, Chicago Park District. We just kicked off Huntley, and actually after this, next week, we have the director, Tim Reinbold at the back. We're going to be working with them for Watermill Park District as well. So again, very familiar with the area. But at the same time, we've done plans for everything from Allentown, Pennsylvania to Anchorage, Alaska, and everything in between. So in the last month alone, Jason and I, we just wrapped up Montrose, Colorado. We kicked off Oregon City, Oregon. He's working in Louisville, and I'm doing the master plans for Miami and Las Vegas as well. So with Daniel being right here and with our team being all over the country, our aim is to really help you get the best of all worlds, hyper-local, regional, and national experience as well that ensures the best for Lisle and for the community. So I'm going to turn it over to Daniel to talk about Kimberly Horn.
Excellent. I'm not going to have more slides, but thank you, everybody. My name is Daniel Grove. I'm a landscape architect and planner with Kimberly Horn. We're a design and engineering firm. We used to be located, have an office in Lisle, but 2 years ago, we moved just down the road to Warrenville. So my background, I've worked with park districts and municipalities in the Chicago region over the last 24 years. I have done master plans and specific plans for parks. So, you know, as Lisle said, we're kind of that hyper local focus understanding kind of boots on the ground, you know, and Park District issues in the area, and really kind of understanding the community. And so really happy to be here, really fortunate to have a chance to work with all of you and with this community and with the staff, and I've worked with Lisle numerous times before on these kind of projects. So it's great to be here working with him again.
Yes, Daniel and I worked before we had any gray hair and before I had kids. So that should tell you how long ago we've been working together. We also have with us ETC Institute, which is a statistically valid survey firm. And their role as a part of this process is going to be conducting a survey that's going to be mailed to residents throughout the Park District boundaries. So they are going to help in terms of ensuring we get scientific and representative data from the community at large as a part of this process. Just some examples of agencies we worked in. I already shared some of that. In addition to that, too, Jason has worked with a national gold medal agency, Willamette Park District in Oregon. I worked with TED, Disney, Olympics, and the Super Bowl. Cruz has worked for Apple before. So really trying to bring a combination from a guest experience standpoint, from a user experience standpoint, from a data analytics standpoint, and really an understanding of the Chicagoland area as well. National accreditation and gold medal, these are some of the agencies, just in terms of percentages of those that we've also worked with over the last decade or so. So here's what I want us to do here to get a sense of the audience as well. For those online too, and for those in person, if you can please get your phones out and go to menti.com or simply scan this QR code. So if you can just use your phone's camera and just point it towards this and scan the QR code, or go to menti.com. Once you go there, type in the code 26342804. For those online, if you have any questions or concerns, please type in the chat box. We will keep monitoring that. But once you go to that, it'll say survey about to start. So just get to that point and let me know once you are there. What's not coming up? Did you type in menti.com?
It just says instructions. I scanned the thing there, and it just says instructions.
Oh, the QR code isn't.
Oh, wait, now it's fine.
That's why I'm waiting for me to start the survey. That's why I wanted you all to get there first. So now you're going to see the questions pop up. Did you see the question pop up? Perfect. So you'll start seeing the responses in real time now from the responses. Yeah.
Is there Wi-Fi in here?
There should be.
Should be a mild public Wi-Fi.
We'll wait for a couple of moments for those who can get on.
Can you show the code again?
Sure. So the code is menti.com. And I'll read out the code. It's 26342804. 26342804. Okay. Anyone still trying to get this? Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So look at the next one here then. I think once you stop clicking, then it's yeah. There you go. Okay. So we're still getting a couple more responses. Okay. 8 segments. All right, so you've got a few 35 to 54. We've got some 55 to 74. We've got 75 plus. Going once, going twice. I can see the room. Don't you all be lying to me with the 8 segments here. So keep the phones handy. We're going to continue going through these questions. But just a quick summary of the process here. Any master plan really looks at 3 main steps. Where are we today? Where do we want to go? How will we get there? So our team and Daniel and his folks are going to do a good sense of conditions for existing parks and facilities. Our team's going to be looking at programs as well. You all are going to tell us today and throughout the process the vision for the future, where you want to go. And ultimately, using your input, using our assessments, working with Dan and the team, as well as the commissioners, we'll then come up with a roadmap for the future, which is the ultimate action and implementation plan. Yes?
Is there a current master plan? And if there is, how old is it?
Yeah, 2006. So
16 years.
16 years.
So you could call it current, but for all practical purposes, it's fairly outdated. Best practices indicate you have a 10-year plan and a 5-year update. So this plan is scheduled to be completed by the end of first quarter of 2023. It's a strategic master plan. So again, it's meant to be a 10-year vision with a 5-year action plan. Like any plans, it's meant to be a living, breathing document because, as you can imagine, a number of plans we did at the start of 2020 were completely rendered obsolete within a few months later. Lisle continues to change, recreation trends continue to change. I remember about 8 years ago, I was in a city just north of San Diego called Carlsbad. And I had a few people show up at a meeting just like this with paddles. And I had no idea what that was till they introduced me to a game called pickleball, which is now the fastest growing sport in the country. So we have no idea 10 years from now what the next pickleball is going to be, but that's why it's meant to be a living document so Lisle can adapt and evolve as trends, participation preferences, the economy, etc., things change. So in addition, our philosophy generally looking at public input is going where people are in a number of different ways. So this is another thing I would love for you to bookmark, if you would please, on your phones. This is the project website called planlisleparks.com. It is an ADA accessible, multilingual, and mobile friendly website. And the idea is for this to become your one-stop shop for all things master plan. So you're going to see today's meetings, all future meetings as well as findings from each one of these presented on this website. The meeting is being recorded on Zoom as well right now. So the recording of that meeting will also be uploaded on the project website too. So you can see cameo appearances by Dan behind me during the meeting. You can see the findings of the polls and everything else all on the website. Along the way, as we have assessments, as we have survey results, all of those will also be uploaded here. So you all will get to see the plan in real time with no surprises. So planlisleparks.com. At the end of this meeting, there's going to be a pop quiz. Only if you know the website's name will you be allowed to leave this room. No, I'm kidding. Okay, another piece is a statistically valid survey. This, as I mentioned, is critical because it ensures users, non-users, and the true community demographics will be represented here. And it's going to be done in English and Spanish both as well. Demographics and trends. This is where we can see the future projections. Right now, 86% of all residents in Lisle live within a 10-minute walk to a park. This is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. We toured through a number of neighborhoods today, and we saw how many of you have access to parks as large as 11 acres, and you can literally walk to. That is not normal. Nationally, close to only 50 or 51% of all community members have access to a park within a 10-minute walk. So Lisle performs significantly higher than national averages. Now, from a demographic and trend standpoint, as we look at population numbers, we're growing, but marginally growing. So as you see, growing at about 0.3 to 0.4% year over year. Nationally, the number is 0.79 to 0.8. So we're at about half the national growth numbers, but we are aging faster than numbers nationwide. So as you look at these charts here on the top, you'll see the yellow and the blue bars are increasing the most from left to right. The left is 2010, the right is projected numbers from 2035. So you can see about roughly 1 in 3 or almost 2 in 5 people will be over the age of 55 by 2035 or so. At the same time, an almost equivalent number, 39%, will be under the age of 35. So a lot of kids and young families as well. That number used to be 48%, is projected to be 39%. We had meetings earlier as well, and we spoke about school enrollment. The high school used to have close to 700 to 800 people graduating. Now it's less than 400. So we're seeing some shift in those numbers as well. But as you see the two ends of the age spectrum, the active adult, I refuse to call them seniors, they don't behave like it, but it's the active adult and it's the families and young kids are almost sort of projected to be an equal number of the community's demographics. So looking at intergenerational experiences is going to be an important part of this process as well. At the same time, from a race and ethnicity standpoint, you can see the blue bar continuing to shrink from left to right. That is what the census calls white alone. All the others are different race and ethnic groups. So you can see what is Black or African American alone is in orange. What is yellow is Asian alone. And those are the groups that are projected to grow the most. So about 1 in 3 people are projected to be anything but white alone in the future. And what you see on the right is the Hispanic Latino population. That is an ethnicity, not a race, which is why it can be a part of any number of groups. And that's projected to grow marginally as well, to be just about 1 in 10 people in the community in the future. So you do continue to diversify, you are continuing to age and grow to some degree. And then from an income standpoint, we see the median household as well as individual per capita income growing or is larger than both the state and national averages here in Lisle. Now we ran some trends as well. This is through SFIA, which is a Sports and Facility Industry Association. And the orange bar going across is 100, which is national average. Any number above that means the community or the residents in Lisle like to participate in that activity that many percentage points more than national averages. So literally every single activity from softball, volleyball, football, golf, tennis, soccer, basketball, all of them are from 3 to 20% higher than national averages here. Now, it doesn't mean that every activity is participated in Lisle itself. They can go anywhere outside too, but the community in Lisle does like to enjoy the sports as well as fitness activities. Again, as you see here, from Zumba to Pilates, every one of the activities are from 1 to almost 50% higher than national averages. And same for outdoor recreation as well for the most part. And again, it's not to say you're hiking and fishing in Lisle alone, but a number of these activities are all, again, very high compared to national averages for the Lisle community. So slightly growing, definitely aging and diversifying, above average income levels, and a community that loves sports, that loves fitness and wellness activities, and loves outdoor recreation is pretty much the combination of your demographic and trend projections. So let's get your phones out again. We want to get some more insight into usage and quality. So this is talking about how often do you use Lisle Park District parks, trails, or recreation facilities. If you don't have a phone with you, I'd love to know if you use it weekly, monthly, yearly, or not at all. So for those of you that don't have a phone, do you use it weekly or monthly or yearly? Or not at all?
Yes.
How often do you use it?
About daily.
About daily? Okay, excellent. I see most results here saying at least weekly for the most part. A couple of them said monthly or 6 times per year. And we've got one respondent saying once per year or less. Not surprised given how proximate your parks are to use them as frequently as you do. Let's then look at which park amenities do you use regularly. So for those out of you that don't have a phone, if you were to simply call out and tell us, what do you use most frequently in the parks? You use the trails, walk around, none at all. Okay. I see trails here. Sports courts, basketball, tennis, pickleball, etc. Playgrounds, aquatic park. I see a golf course, fitness center, picnic shelters. If you chose other, could you raise your hand, please? What did you choose for other?
Concert.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Concert in the park. That's great because we're capturing those notes as well. So if you have any response that isn't here, we'd love to hear that so we can also capture that. Okay. Looks like obviously the trails are by far the number one, followed by playgrounds and sports courts, and then the aquatic park. That's great. So if you do use, how do you rate the overall quality? Is it excellent, good, fair, or poor? I see lots of excellence. I see excellent and good now. I see a couple of fair, a couple of poor. So if you rated poor, which one did you rate it poor for? Or what do you use? Anyone in person or online, if you said poor, and if you want to share if there's a specific site or not, because then we can certainly make recommendations for that specific site as well. It's not going to offend anybody. This is why you're here. We want to know. Okay. So I see someone's typed in the chat box here as well. River Road Park is poor. Okay, got it. It's helpful to know. So we have someone in the chat type in that River Road Park is poor. That's why they rated the way it is. The majority have said good or excellent, closely followed by fair or poor. All right, so then let's talk about access and travel. How do you get to a park or a trail, or do you live within a 10-minute walk? So how many of you feel that you live within a 10-minute walk to a park or a trail? Okay, so far the majority seem to be saying yes, they do. To you as well, excellent, okay. So even in addition, Chris, we also have others that have said yes, they do live. This is probably the best response I have seen. And it actually almost tracks your numbers because we said close to 90%. We have 9 of you here that responded. 8 of you said yes, 1 said no. So that's pretty much on par with what the numbers for Lisle show. And this is probably going to be the highest numbers I've seen in the country for those that have responded, even with a smaller sample size. So how do you travel to your nearest park? Are you walking, driving, biking? Are you teleporting? Are you going underground, the Elon Musk style boring tunnel? Walk, some bike, a couple of drives. Okay, yes.
What is the option of ride?
If they ride with somebody else. Okay, I see also, Catherine mentioned as well, that she agrees with Julie about River Road Park condition. And there's 5 of them with her there that are discussing that. So River Road Park was probably the one that people mentioned about conditions. Looks like the majority, more people walk than bike or drive together, which is again a really good number to have. I rarely see walking being more than all the other mediums put together. So that's again a fantastic testament to park access. So for those of you again that do travel, let's talk about how you find out and how would you want to find out about what the park district offers. So for those of you, if you're not answering on your phone, how do you know what's going on in the park district? Is it through friends, word of mouth? Is it email, the senior center? How do you find out? Okay, signage on 53. Okay, that's great. I see the others. Website seems to be the most. Social media and word of mouth. If you chose other and want to share what the other is, please do so as well. Anyone here choose other? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just go out in the park and see what's going on.
I love it.
I just walk.
I love it. So for those online, what's your name, sir?
Jerry.
Mr. Jerry says that he just goes to the parks and sees what's going on, and that's how he finds out. That's great. That's fantastic. So looks like we have a tie between website and word of mouth, followed by social media, newsletter, and emails for some of the others as well. So the flip side of this is what's preventing you from using these more often. So if there's anything that stops you from visiting any of the parks or facilities, what is it? No barriers? Okay. Some of the choices we have here are cost, too busy, don't feel safe or welcome, don't know what's available, lack of accessibility, lack of amenities in parks, lack of parking, restrooms, wayfinding, etc. Too busy? Okay. We didn't put that in the choice. Too busy or too old? What keeps you busy? That's fair. That's fair. Okay, that's great. So I see a few people are typing other as well. Anyone here type other? Yes.
We didn't have any barriers to using the parks.
Okay.
We use it a lot.
Okay. That's great.
Multiple times.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. Okay. Is it by yourself, with others?
With my kids.
Kids? How old?
7 months and 2 years.
Okay. Great. Congrats.
And mine are 6 and 4.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Anyone else? I see 3 people have chosen other. Yes.
Lack of communication and exposure to the activities. I don't think we're promoting properly.
Okay. So I see lack of, I'm too busy, lack of restrooms, amenities. And so what would help you know more clearly or more often about what's going on? What mechanism would help?
Well, I think they need to find a vehicle, either the sign, the electronic sign, or to get the word out. First of all, they stopped printing the magazine. Well, take for instance the concert, the only thing that I'm interested in. I don't even know when the concerts are. I go driving by from my daughter's house and I see parks got all kind of people that have no idea.
Okay.
Saw no publicity, nothing. I almost felt like it was an exclusive group to
Okay.
know about it.
Do you check the website at all?
I do not.
Okay. So you think the print guide is what would be helpful?
I prefer that. I am on the computer way too much and I prefer not to. I don't even shop online because I can't stand all these websites.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yes.
There should be more interviews Main Street Route 53, that could be utilized.
Okay, so for those online, the input we heard was also about more intergovernmental opportunities and sharing as well through the village for what is going on.
The library and will still have printed materials.
Okay, okay, got it. All right. So let's look at future needs here. And again, we're limited with choices. So as we go forward, we'll certainly use the other, raise your hands. Anything we don't have here, we're going to capture the input right now as well. So which 3 facility amenities are you or members of your household most interested in? Aquatics, BMX or skate park, a dog park, fitness trails, indoor recreation space, open space trails, picnic areas, playgrounds, sports courts, sports fields, trail amenities like seating, shade water stations, trail connectivity, or other. Yes?
Can you explain what you mean by trail connectivity?
So again, the ability to be able to go from one part of town to the other, or even beyond as well, without having to get into a car. Mm-hmm. Yeah, earlier when we discussed connectivity, someone thought it was Wi-Fi connectivity. So I'm glad you clarified. Yes.
Is it
BMX is like mountain biking style as well, bike and skate park. Okay, I see a lot of playground and trail connectivity obviously coming up. Open space trails as well, so clearly trail and trail connectivity seems to be a big one here. Is anything else anyone online wants to share as well? Please do so in the chat box. Anything you'd like to add, ma'am? Yes.
I participate in at the Seven Bridges sports court. That's where I do my water exercises and so forth. So
Okay.
it's just down the street.
Sure, sure. Anything else you'd like to see in the park district? Any other amenities or facility types?
I think we're fortunate to have the open spaces that we have.
Yes.
That is a blessing too. Because having everybody crammed into the spaces or acclimated to certain things, I think having open spaces that are available to anybody is really very good. It's an asset.
Absolutely. So for those online, we just heard talking about how open space is an asset, and we're fortunate to have a number of different varieties of places in Lisle. Yes, sir.
I think the fact that many people don't realize is many of the park district lands became available through the activities and actions of Lisle Village Board, through land cash donations, etc., annexation agreements, including park land here, which was made available at a price as a result of the provisions of an annexation agreement. I don't think many people realize when you go into these subdivisions, Dan, you realize that, but through the years, a lot of the land that was made available became available through the land cash requirements of the municipality. So,
Sure. Yeah, I think again, online, we just heard talking about how many of the lands and parks we have are through the village board as well, and through, again, land annexation and donations and purchase as well. So, okay.
I'd say the village board, I'm saying that the municipalities through the
Sure.
statutory provisions that were put in place by the state that allows the donation, requires the donation of land for
understood. Okay.
subdivision, DUD approvals, etc.
Sure, sure.
In other words, the park district didn't acquire these properties for the most part.
Sure.
They were
Okay.
given to them.
Yep.
That's not a criticism.
No.
Right.
Just a fact.
Right. Yep. All right. So, what kind of programs would you be most interested to participate in? 50+ activities, adult sports, adult recreation, aquatics, group fitness, inclusion activities, outdoor activities, special events, teen programs or camps, youth programs or camps, youth sports, or other. I see the most for special events so far. Anyone who chose special events, would you like to share what kind of special events do you have in mind? Concerts, okay.
Eyes to the skies.
Okay. Others, anything else?
What about movies in the park?
Movies in the parks, of course. Of course.
Small time community activities, much like they do with the Museum Station Park.
Okay.
Like small 4th of July, local, you know, they have all the property here. And it'd be desirable to have something that would serve all the people. It doesn't have to be this grand eyes to the skies thing and bring all these people in and have to pay them and everything. Sometimes you can just get local entertainment and activities for kids, and things like that.
Okay.
And let people bring in their food.
Okay. So for special events, we heard about, again, a number of different options, concerts as well as smaller events too that we can have. I see online, we hear about festivals, concerts, carnivals, and wine fest. Very nice. So clearly special event seems to be the winner here. We see outdoor recreation. Who chose outdoor recreation here? Would you want to elaborate on what you have in mind with outdoor recreation? Yes, yes, sir.
Just fishing,
Okay.
things like that.
Okay. Boating, fishing, okay.
New launching, that was pretty good.
Yes. Okay. So boating, fishing, that's great. Don't see any others, so. All right. Yes. For activities for those who are older than 50 years old. Yeah. So you would not qualify for that yet. Okay, 3 most important improvements that you would like to see over the next 10 years. So additional indoor recreation space, innovative all-ability playgrounds, build new or upgrade existing sports courts, build new or upgrade existing sports fields, expand and connect the trail system, improve ADA accessibility to and within the parks, improve and expand restroom facilities, improve signage and wayfinding, more shade structures and picnic tables, outdoor fitness and obstacle courses, or outdoor pool, and other, as always. Anything you'd like to see, ma'am? Any improvements?
No, I think we're fortunate.
Okay. All right. Anyone online? Yes, sir.
I'd like to offer a comment relative to improvements that perhaps should not be looked at.
Okay.
One would be no lighted facilities east of the river.
Okay.
In the community park.
Got it.
And the second part of that is take a good look at other parks to see what kind of baseball games, etc., could be handled there. For example, Abbeywood and Napier Boulevard, go by that the good day, and that's a good-sized park. You know, lighted facilities in one neighborhood are no better or worse than lighted facilities in another neighborhood. So
okay.
That's I have a.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Probably a half mile from here, and I could do finger puppets in my bedroom at night with lights that come from baseball diamonds here.
Okay. So for those online, we heard about no lighted facilities east of the river at Community Park as well. And we heard a comment about being able to do finger puppets with the lights in their house too. So
it should be its own control, I would think, to light the property itself.
Sure, sure. So more controlled lighting on the property. Yes, sir.
I put other on there.
Yes.
And is there a way to connect this park to the downtown section safely without getting killed on 53?
Yeah. So we heard that in other groups as well. So again, wanting to connect this park, community park, to downtown in a safe manner. So that would be an improvement to look at as well. I see the maximum for expand and connect the trail system, followed by innovative all-ability playgrounds. So I'm assuming more like Discover, right? Additional playgrounds like that. Build new or upgrade existing sports courts. If you chose that, what particular court did you have in mind? Anyone who chose sports courts, would you like to share whether it's, yes?
So I am one of those who likes to play football now.
Oh, cool.
So I know that they just recently added a couple more.
Yes.
But that was a thing last summer where there's
right. Right.
I think all of them maybe like that.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. Well, I know we're also building more at Arborview, right?
Yeah, Arborview Park.
So Arborview Park will have additional ones that are being constructed as well. So I hear you. Again, I'd be surprised if I go to a meeting and don't care about pickleball. So your point's well taken. Yes.
There should be more intergovernmental activity. We're right close to the high school, and if somebody is interested in indoor sports, why couldn't the basketball courts and things of the schools be utilized along with the park district?
Sure.
To instead of having to go to another entity of some sort.
Yep. So we heard another comment, one about additional pickleball courts or lines, and the other about more intergovernmental relationships to be able to access indoor spaces and gyms at the schools for the community as well versus building new. So we've got those, improve and expand restroom facilities, shade structures, sports fields, etc. All right. So a couple of ones to sort of wrap up your overall satisfaction with the quality you receive from the Lisle Park District. So far, I see most saying very satisfied, followed by saying somewhat dissatisfied, a neutral, and a somewhat satisfied. If anyone want to share why you are very satisfied or somewhat dissatisfied, basically the two ends of the spectrum, we'd love to hear from you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I have a dog. We live in a townhouse. My dog needs to get out and walk. I can go for a walk. I can go for a half an hour. I can go for an hour. I can go for an hour and a half. And just see whatever. You know, there's so many parks, there's so many trails, you go so many places, and it's just fun to see, you know, the kids in the playground and the other people out. It's just enjoyable.
Excellent. Okay, great to hear. Yes.
We live in green trails, so our neighborhood maintains some of the trails and parks, and then the park district maintains others. So we love having this huge variety of parks to choose from. Love the Sea Lion Park. The playground by Sea Lion is amazing. So we're
excellent, excellent. Yeah, we drove through there as well today as a part of the tour, and just the abundance of green space and parks you have. It's quite cool. Okay, it looks like we have some input here online. We have someone talking about, okay, River Road Park. So that's where someone dissatisfied came from. I know earlier they mentioned the park quality as well. So River Road Park is obviously something to be thinking about as well in terms of park conditions and quality. So as we start wrapping up here, before we close and sort of talk about next steps, does anybody have any questions from us about the process or anything else? Yes, sir.
One of the items that I'd like the park commissioners to consider televising of park district meetings.
Okay.
Live.
Okay.
Facilities are available for internet connection.
Sure.
INET connection. And I think the one thing that's lacking on newspapers is the ability to view.
Understood. Yep.
To see what the commissioners
Okay.
are thinking for the library, school district, as well as departments.
Okay. So televised
a missing
commissioner.
item
Yep.
that, I think would be helpful.
Indeed.
From the governance.
Yes. 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 I don't know for the plan, and I know I said this earlier, but this meeting is recorded and will be available on the project website as well, including the results of the poll that you all took will also be shared on the website afterwards. So you will have that. Your point's well taken. Anything else? Okay. So next steps, as I said, the input from here is going to be used with ETC Institute to craft the statistically valid survey. Because it is random and anonymous, to ensure the statistical validity, we can't control who gets it. So all of you may get it, some of you may get it, none of you may get it, we don't know. But what they will ensure is, one, it comes from the park district. It will be only to households within the district boundaries. They will control for gender, age, income, race, ethnicity. So it mirrors the demographics of Lisle as a whole. And you'll have it mailed to you, but you'll have a chance to respond by mail, by phone through a call center that they have, or through a one-time use link that per household you can use once there. Now, for those of you that don't get it, because you've signed in today, we have your email addresses as well. We will be notifying and sharing through all the channels of communication from the district when the survey goes live on the website. So what we are going to do is create an identical version of that statistically reliable survey that's going to go on the website. That will be the Survey Monkey-based online survey. So you can all take that survey. We will keep the results separate so you can compare and contrast the statistically reliable versus the open to anybody community survey results and see which ones of those two are consistent. So you know what is truly a community priority versus which might be driven by more of a certain specific user group versus the other. Over the next 2 months, that's what's going to happen. So by the end of August, we will have the survey done. Parallel to that, Daniel and his team will be touring the entire system, assessing the park conditions, the facility amenity conditions. River Road Park came up, so obviously they'll be looking at that as well. We'll be assessing the program offerings to see, we hear from a number of people for what kind of things you'd like. Maybe it's more special events, maybe it's more programs for kids. And then we'll come back to you all in the findings presentation, share all that on the website too, as these are the findings of the needs assessment survey, Daniel's assessment, our assessment put together. The last quarter of this year, we'll be looking at visioning, working with staff and the commissioners. And then the first quarter of next year is when we start putting that together in a roadmap and action plan. So you will see these phases develop along the way. But like I said, we're working backwards from Q1 of next year for this to be completed. So stay tuned at planlileparks.com. And you're going to continue seeing updates on meetings, on findings. And of course, we continue to love hearing from you. I see one more comment online, so I want to quickly check that. We have here an input that says, Riverview Drive close to River Road Park is overturning. Having a first block party, encourage city officials to step by to see how many young families are here, especially with the garden across the street. It would be great to get some updates. The neighborhood is flooded with babies who will need a toddler-friendly park soon. Okay, excellent, excellent. So please keep checking on planlileparks.com. And if there's nothing else for us right now, I just want to thank you all for your time and input, and please stay engaged. Yes?
Are there going to be more meetings, and when is the next meeting?
We will keep you updated online. There will continue to be meetings. The next one will be when we have all the findings of this process, and we'll be sharing that with the community. So sometime in the next 2 to 3 months.
Okay, so have there been meetings before this month?
For an open public.
Park district, this is not a good turnout.
Correct. In person, yes, I'm not surprised. Generally, this is typically what we've been seeing, but we have over half a dozen plus people here. We have met about 30 to 35 different groups during the day today already. And we have a statistically valid survey with close to 400 people and an online survey that's going to have who knows how many more hundreds of them as well. So the goal is not to have any single meeting. The goal is to ensure as many different ways as we can, whether you show up here or you go to the website and share your input, we will weigh it with the same importance.
What's a sample of the groups? You said 35 groups. What kind of groups are these groups?
I'll speak to them, just the focus groups.
Yes, the groups at these meetings, at these presentations.
So we had 3 focus groups earlier today. And the people who were invited were those who responded to letters in the brochure that for the last year and a half or 2 since we've been promoting this. The last two newsletters that were mailed to everybody's household promoting this project, asking for anyone who's interested in participating. And then anyone else who's seen the advertisements online or elsewhere. And honestly, we didn't get a whole lot of feedback from those. So a lot of those who participate were from our affiliate groups, from our senior center, from preschool pool pass holders, etc. So we really did try to reach out and get as many non-users as we could, but admittedly, we didn't get as much feedback as we had hoped from that demographic.
I think that's a concern. And again, it would speak to the communication or the promotion or the publicity or whatever, because this is a representative group. I mean, I don't think it's, how many people are in this park district? There's a lot of people in this park district. I think you need to reach out if you want to.
Can I ask though too, I mean, I'd like to think that the park district took very reasonable efforts to engage. We've mailed things to personally to your homes. And I don't know what else, I understand what you're saying, but I'm also at a bit of a loss is how do we reach out to those who are not engaged? We had a press release that was published in the Daily Herald a couple of weeks ago. So we do try, but admittedly, if people aren't engaged, aren't checking websites, aren't signing up for e-news, aren't calling or emailing when they have questions, aren't reading their mail that's delivered to their homes, I'm at a bit of a loss.
Okay, let me tell you that our mailboxes are totally full of political stuff right now, correct?
This was sent out, and these were in February,
so
yeah.
People, whether they toss it or not, they get it to their mailbox, they're going to peruse, they're going to scan it, they're going to see it. There's something that interests them, they're going to look. But the Park District magazine or whatever has stopped being sent to the homes. Now, if you send an isolated letter, unless it's